Hello and welcome. My name is Karen McAllister. I'm the Assistant Director of Student Recruitment for the College of Engineering at the University of Texas at Arlington. And welcome to our latest edition of Ask an Ambassador as part of our virtual Brown Bag event series. Today we have a great topic picked out for you about maintaining a healthy mind, body, and spirit. So let's go ahead and have our fabulous ambassador introduce themselves today. Ishrat, go ahead and take it away.
Hi, my name is Ishrat. I'm currently a biomedical engineering master's student, and I will be graduating in December. And so, yeah, I'm excited to talk to everyone today.
Fabulous. Thank you for a great intro. So your overall well-being is important to us, to all of us, and helps you stay grounded and successful in and outside of the classroom. Additionally, it just helps you feel better, generally speaking. So I want to welcome you all to drop your questions in the Q&A section, which is open and ready for you all. But I do have some questions for Ishrat. So I'm going to go ahead and kick this off. So my first question for you today is, we've been working in this virtual environment, taking classes and just engaging in this virtual environment. How do you schedule breaks into your weekly schedule to de-stress?
Yeah, for me personally, like being at school, at home is very different because home is a place I come to relax, unwind. But now the two are kind of meeting. And so I definitely have to, make sure that I carve out some time in my schedule so that there is time where I can go do something that I like, whether it be walk my dogs or, go play play a game of tennis or something, or go ride my bike down to the lake. You definitely have to, think of yourself and not think of all the assignments that are due, because with for me, everything kind of mushes together. Like when I get up in the morning, I'm like, okay, well, I have class, I have this. And so like all day, like most of the time, like it'll be like work. And then it'll be like 8 p.m. and I'm like, oh no, like what happened to the day? And so, yeah, just putting aside for time for yourself, as well as, your family, your significant other, your friends. That's really important.
Awesome. So hobbies. Many people have picked up some hobbies to kind of help distress. Have you picked up any good hobbies?
I have. There's a thing called paint by numbers. You can submit your own picture, or you can do one of their like pre-made ones. Like there's like a Harry Potter one. I did a picture of my dog, and I painted him so well. He looks like he was painted by Van Gogh. But
I love it.
So it's really cool. They actually give you a canvas. Everything's numbered, and then they give you paints, which are numbered as well. And so when you see a spot that says number 1, you use paint number 1, and then you go through it, and it's super duper cool. It's super fun, and it definitely like keeps you entertained. And I sent in like a silly picture of my dog with a crown on, and so yeah, now it hangs above my entryway. So yeah, and also I've learned a little bit more about cooking. Like a lot of like big name brands like Sur La Table, they're doing like virtual online cooking classes. And so you join their Zoom, you buy the ingredients, and you get to learn how to make a healthy meal. So I think that is definitely important too, eating healthy in this like, COVID era. Because sometimes like I study, like go to class, I'm just like, I'm just gonna Grubhub some food or Uber Eat some food. But a lot of the places near me, they're not the healthiest. And so I end up eating a lot of junk food. And so I really wanted to be a little bit more healthy. And so I've been doing these like online cooking classes, and also I've been trying to like meal prep and, do a little bit more so that, after COVID, like I won't be like super unhealthy and have gained like a bunch of weight.
So I'm jealous of the cooking because I am not the best cook. I'm sure we've all been in that boat where we try to just pick up some delivery or, some Grubhub, whatever it might be to make it easier. Have you found any additional like websites or like maybe apps that are making it easier for you to kind of find out good recipes? Or are you just hearing like good recipes from your friends or family?
Yeah, a little bit of all of the above. So it just depends on what I have in mind. Like today, I woke up, it was a little bit cold, so I thought I would make some chili, and so I have some chili cooking on the stove. But yeah, foodnetwork.com has been a good website, and there's a bunch of like beginner recipe tips. And then my best friend and her spouse, they cook all the time, and so I borrowed some meals from her. And then yeah, I also throughout the years of me living by myself in an apartment. I've accumulated, let's see, like a sous vide. And so I've never really used it. And so I'm looking up like sous vide recipes, and you can make like the most like fantastic steak on a sous vide using a sous vide and then just searing it on I have a gas grill, and so just searing it on the gas grill on a cast iron pan. Yeah.
That's awesome. So you kind of touched into it of like keeping in contact with some of your friends about like getting recipes. Generally speaking, how are you still staying connected to your friends and family in this virtual environment to kind of keep that in balance for yourself?
You know, Zoom meetings are definitely, Zoom hangouts are definitely a thing. Like we do a lot of Zoom movie nights where someone shares their screen and we play like, since Halloween's coming up, we recently had one where someone played Hocus Pocus. And so like me and like 20 other people, like, you know, Friday night from like 6 to 8, that's what we did. And then, yeah, a couple of times we've tried to do like game night, but then it kind of fails because like it'll be at one person's house. But yeah, we've done like video game nights and those have worked perfectly. But like as far as board games and things, we're still working on it. And yeah, besides Zoom, you know, like a lot of group chats, like using GroupMe or WhatsApp, and then like Facebook. Facebook has definitely helped me stay connected for sure. So.
Awesome. Yeah, I kind of in the same boat over here. A lot of virtual life. I find myself definitely keeping in contact more with people through like text messages and calls more than I think I did prior to all of this.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been a fun thing to kind of actually engage a little bit more often. So kind of switching gears on this a little bit, how have maybe some of your friends talked about finding their balance, or, you know, peers in classes, how have they maybe found balance?
A couple of my peers, you know, they've been going to like this yoga, like this outdoor yoga class thing. I live near a park, and so like they go, it's I think every morning from 8 to 8:30, they take their own yoga mats, they social distance, and then there's like a yogi who leads the sessions. And so they've been doing a lot of that. And I know some of my other friends, we all have me and two other friends, we have Pelotons. And so if you guys don't know what that is, it's a spin bike. And so we keep ours connected and we do like group rides and things like that. So yeah, there's definitely, we're using a lot of different avenues for communication and like keeping in contact than we would previously.
Absolutely. So exercise is a great way to kind of center yourself and kind of stay engaged. I've definitely done a lot more of like running outside just in general. I found that to be really a good stress reliever. Have you found any like good exercises or like, I don't know, a good walk maybe that helps?
Yeah, not so much outside. I have horrible allergies and but yeah, the one thing that I do a lot is I have the Peloton, and so like with the Peloton bike, you buy like a membership, and so you have access to like, let me see. You have access to their app. Yeah, anyways, you have access to this. Anyway, I think it's because of my screen, but yeah, you have access to their app, and so there's like a strength training, there's yoga, there's cardio, there's meditation. So there's a whole variety of things you can do at home. And so yeah, that's what a lot of the things that I've been doing. I've been doing a little bit of weights more, but the one thing that I have been doing outside a lot, I've been taking my dogs on more walks, and we've been playing more like outdoor in our backyard, and we've definitely been taking more frequent walks to the park for sure, but like in short intervals, because once my allergies start, then they know it's time to turn around and go back home.
Yeah, you know, allergies are never anyone's friend. I feel you on that one, absolutely. So I know many people are, like we kind of said, getting in contact and staying in contact more with their family. Have you had more longer conversations with people, or has it been lots of short conversations? And what have y'all maybe like found yourself talking about more?
Yeah, it's definitely been a little bit of both. It's dependent on the connection with them. Like me and my close friends, yeah, we've definitely talked a lot more, and we're like, oh no, because we had like vacations planned, we had trips planned, and now it's just like, oh no, like, you know, what do we do? How do we hang out? You know, because all three of us live in different areas, and so we've definitely been, like trying to plan. And so like, yeah, our talks have gotten longer. Like we connect in different ways now. Like we had a Zoom, like we made pasta carbonara, I think.
Okay.
2 weeks ago. And so, yeah, we did the same. Like, we got on Zoom and everybody got ingredients and we cooked. One of us like taught the others how to cook, and yeah, we've been trying to make it work. I've definitely been on my phone more. I know that's not the best thing, but we play Words with Friends together, and we just try to do what we can to stay connected because I feel like once you kind of get down in the dumps, you kind of isolate yourself, and it's kind of hard to come back from that, especially with COVID and everything being so distanced.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of emotions and everything going on, especially for students, because you're also taking classes and there's an extra burden, I guess, kind of like working, taking classes, and still finding that like social balance. So
yeah, for sure.
How does that balance, like, have you had any struggles in finding that right balance for yourself? And if you did, can you share some tips on that so we can find some balance ourselves?
Yeah, no, I've definitely struggled with that because like I was saying, like every day, like you're at home, like you log in for your class, you log off, you do your homework, and it's really different. And like I recently had a midterm, and so I had to sit in front of like the webcam and go like take the test, and it was just so nerve-wracking. I'm just like, oh my god, like I have a scratch on my nose, but I don't want to itch it because I don't want it to think like I'm doing something bad and then kick me off. And so the stress is definitely like up there, but I also have really great professors that I can talk to. And so for that quiz, one of the questions, like I was clicking on the answer, and then like I really had to scratch my nose. So I scratched my nose, and then I like instantly afterwards I like emailed my professor after my exam. I'm like, hey, at question this, at time this, I scratched my nose. Please don't give me a bad grade. Please don't think I was doing anything bad. I was just scratching my nose. And then he emails me back and he's like, oh, that's funny. Like, it's fine. He's like, yeah, like nothing will kick you as long as you don't do anything bad. And so, yeah, like I'm lucky enough to have really like supportive and communicative professors who do understand that, this is a different experience for everyone. Like, as I found out this semester and last, engineering is not meant to be done online. And, they're doing the best that they can. So if you're ever like struggling, just reach out to them and say, hey, like I'm kind of having a little bit of trouble with this. Can you help me? Can you give me some guidance? And, they'll help you out as much as they can.
That's wonderful to hear you're able to talk to your professor and have a positive interaction where like, I think they understood probably kind of like where you're coming at. Like, I'm just trying to make sure I did everything right. Please don't discredit me.
Yeah.
So are there any like support groups on campus if you maybe don't feel comfortable talking to your professor? Are there any other options or avenues you can go?
Yeah, for sure. So for our freshmen, and I believe I think it's just for freshman students, they have 6 free hours with CAPS, which is counseling and psychological services. And so they get 6 free hours. And sorry, that's my lovely dogs. So they get 6 free hours, and after that they get a prorated rate on their counseling hours. So it's way cheaper for them, and so they can take advantage of that. And also current students get like a prorated rate and access to sessions as well. So it's definitely something that's affordable. So you can talk to someone who's like a licensed therapist, and so they can give you like, ways to handle anxiety or your depression or anything of that nature. And so, yeah. And if they can't provide what you need, they can help you find someone who can kind of give you the help that you need, who can like refer you to someone else. So.
That's awesome. Definitely, we do have a lot of great resources to make sure we keep our students engaged and really focusing on their well-being overall, both in and outside of the classroom. So my next question is going to be about that stress level. So you touched on already that like engineering classes are incredibly stressful to take in this virtual environment. What kind of tips do you maybe have on maybe finding a way to de-stress or how to balance it out? Because you already talked about the fact you kind of log into a computer, you take your classes, you take your quizzes, you're kind of around this computer all the time. How do you de-stress from these classes and everything that's maybe happened? Because people have more or less finished up their midterms, right?
Yeah. So one of the things that I've been doing is like, I have a nice little porch. And so sometimes like after I'm done with my class, I just close my computer, turn off my iPad, and I go sit outside and just sit outside for like 5-10 minutes, because just like looking at the screen, it just gets so mundane sometimes. And sometimes I just feel like I'm always having to grind. And so just taking that minute to appreciate like, like everything that I have, like, and just take in something that's not electronic, I think it really helps me, kind of unwind from the day and just relax a little bit so that, I can get charged up to go do my homework or write that paper or work on that project. So.
Absolutely. I don't know about you, but I have definitely found myself listening to more podcasts. I've also definitely read a lot more books, I think, than I have in a long time. So that's been a nice change of pace for myself. But I will say I've also done a fair share of a couple of online games to, because you can't miss out. There's a lot of new games coming out and a lot of new movies and TV shows to watch. So you got to pace yourself a little bit. So my next question really is going to be about how do you just keep yourself busy? How do you break apart your day a little bit more? How do you find not just that balance, but like the, checking things off a list, that success level that you did something today, you accomplished something today? How do you know you've had a successful day?
That's every day comes with new challenges. It's like, I just gauge the day based on, have I been able to get my work done or have I been able to get part of what I wanted to get done? And a lot of what I'm seeing with my classes personally is like there's a lot more lab reports, there's a lot more projects. And so I try to do a little bit at a time. Like I have a project due tomorrow at 12 o'clock. And so I finished my slide, I finished like everything that I was supposed to do. And so now I'm just looking through it. And so to me, that means like, I got what I needed to get done and, I can go enjoy the rest of my day because I don't have anything else to do. And yeah, that's how I kind of gauge it. But like my friends gauge it differently. Like one of my friends, she's just like, as long as I make it to 8 o'clock without getting mad or irritated with my professors, it's a successful day. And so, yeah, there's different standards for success. And so for me, mine is academic and making sure everything's on the up and up. For her, it's just making sure, just getting through the day. So yeah, like everything right now with COVID is challenging. These classes are a little bit more challenging than, they would be if they were in person. So I think, doing even the littlest and doing the best at it entitles you to having like a successful day.
Absolutely. I feel you on that. Like for me, I'm one of those people that likes to kind of keep a to-do list and I check things off as I go along. And I find that that's what keeps me gauge myself as successful. But, I don't know about you, but sometimes I feel like I have completely failed at something and it just didn't go so well. How have you kind of overcome any of these failures or challenges along the way? How do you know how to handle that?
So yeah, like yeah, there have been days where I felt I've literally like I've been so tired or just so drained. I haven't done anything. And so like those are the days I kind of like look at myself and I'm just like, what did I do wrong? And so I'll usually get like a notebook out or something and I'll just write like, what did I do today? What did I not do? And why did I not do what I needed to do? And kind of like, make a bridge between the two and see why I didn't accomplish what I was supposed to, and then see how tomorrow I can remediate that and do better. And also, we have a new ambassador joining us, Zara.
Hi, everybody. My name is Zara. I'm sorry I couldn't be here earlier. We were giving out a senior academic excellence presentation, so I thought of joining as soon as it ended.
Fabulous. Thank you for joining. So we're kind of talking about how we overcome failures and, it happens sometimes. Maybe your day just didn't go so well. Maybe it's just your week didn't go as planned. Can you maybe kind of touch on how you've overcome some failure and any suggestions you might have for other people on that?
Actually, first week of October, I believe, the most recent event that happened with me, I had a midterm exam for one of my classes, and it didn't go as well as I thought it would. Actually, it didn't go really well at all. Honestly, adjusting to online during COVID, online classes, everything's online, quizzes, even most of my exams. Well, first professors were like, we might have some of our exams on campus, but now they've obviously because of the spikes, and they've changed that too. And they're like, okay, it's gonna be a take-home exam. So first week of October, I had my midterm for one of my classes, reinforced concrete. It wasn't as I expected it to be. I was so down. As soon as the exam ended, I was like, oh my God, that was so bad. So I know that at least once in your life, you've had this feeling where you thought it would be so good, the exam, test, or whatever, maybe an interview, but then obviously it doesn't go as you thought it would. I felt so down the rest of the day, and I wouldn't talk to anybody at home. It was just bad. I was just like, okay, leave me alone, please. But honestly, thinking about it, like, it's okay. Like, sometimes it's okay if you don't have an A or even a B on every single exam. It's all right. It's part of life. And my aunt just came in and she started giving me all these advices. And obviously you definitely need people during this time, so you should know that, reach out to your friends, like talk to them. I talked to all the people that I knew in that class. I texted them afterwards. I was like, how was your exam? Just tell me. And then I told them, okay, so mine wasn't as good as I thought they'd be. So they were there for me. They kind of supported me. So kind of reach out, just don't like close yourself off from the outside world is what I'd say. I was in my room, but then my aunt came in, she talked to me, and then I kind of reached out to my friends, talked to them about it. It kind of made me feel better. I feel like just talking about it makes you feel better. And it's not the end of the world. There's so many, obviously this is life. There's going to be so many ups and downs. And you just can't close yourself off. Everybody has a bad day, but it'll pass. And just reach out to your friends, your family, ask for help when you think you need it. Just don't be alone. Like, don't seclude yourself.
Absolutely, and you kind of touched on today. So support networks are critical to really helping individuals kind of stay grounded and balanced in their lives in general. How have you built, or how would you suggest someone to go about building up their support network?
So as an incoming international student, I came to UT as I'm an international student. My first freshman year, obviously it was the most tough year for me. I believe it is the same for other international students or for students who leave their homes and move on to campus, UTA dorms or apartments. So it was a different country. There were different people. Everything is different, So in the beginning, it is difficult. I would not deny it. It is hard, being out of home, doing everything on your own. I remember the first time I had to clean the bathroom. I was scrubbing the floor while I had tears in my eyes. So it is hard, yes, especially as an international student, because you come from a completely different place and you come here and everything's so different, interaction with people. So slowly and gradually what I did was I found out that there's so many organizations on campus. There's so much, like, every single day there'd be so much events going on campus that you could just go there and join them. And so I had my roommate with me in my dorm back then, and so we decided that every week at least 3 times we'd go to like a social event, or maybe like go somewhere, volunteer, kind of network with people, just meet people, talk to them. And honestly, it sounded scary at first, because like coming from completely different place, but then just going out there and talking to people, it kind of makes you feel good. Human beings are social animals, like they say. So yeah, just I would go to these organizations on campus. I would go to their events. I would volunteer, and this is how, apart from my classes, there were other things now that I could focus on. Spend my time there, and that's how I made friends. And so definitely it takes at least a semester, your first semester, and to kind of settle in. But I would say that just network, go around, never come back to your room and just put on Netflix. No, you'll feel even more lonely after that. Just go out there and meet people, talk to them, be like involved. There's so many things and events, like I said, to be involved on campus, and just don't like seclude yourself and be alone.
And do you have anything you want to add on to that?
Yeah, also with COVID, a lot of our events have definitely declined. Like I know, like in the fall, we have a bed races tournament. No, we have Oozball in the fall, bed races in the spring. We have two really cool events, and even with like the College of Engineering, we have this big welcome back bash. And some of these events did not happen. And one of the things that UTA is doing, like one of the big things that we do is map swap, where we trade in like an old like university t-shirt for a new one. And so those donated t-shirts go to like a charitable cause. And so that's one thing that UTA stepped up and did. And so you had the option of, you could go to school and pick up your t-shirt, or you could have it mailed to you. And also Excel, which is like our student activities body, kind of, they've been making a lot of like, attempts to make sure like students do feel included, that they kind of do get like somewhat of a normal college experience, even though that we have to social distance and we can't meet up as much. They are trying to, like do events. Like I know there's like a Halloween bingo thing. There's trivia on Fridays, I believe. There's like a Microsoft Teams for that. And there's just like various little things that they'll do. And excuse me, I think that's super duper cool, because like in the age of COVID, like trying to do something socially is so difficult, because you have to see, okay, well, like the place where I'm going, do they have a patio? Like what's their seating? And so I think this is a really cool way for students to kind of get involved, because as much as like, we want to do well in classes and stuff, having an outlet and having something fun to do, I think also helps with our mental well-being.
Absolutely. Just having that, ability to find something else, to just let your mind do something different that's not academic related, always helps with that de-stressing component. And so you kind of touched on some of the parts of campus that are engaging and finding new ways for you to engage. Are there any others that you would suggest of events that UTA has been putting on that students can still find a way to engage and still kind of have that experience virtually?
So one of the big things I like to do when I was on campus, I'd like to go to the Maverick Activity Center, which is like our gym, like our big like fitness area. And so they have opened the MAC up, but it's like by appointment only. And I do believe they temperature scan you and things. But also like there are some other places that I saw it on it was listed in the Shorthorn, which is our university newspaper, and it said like there were some events, I think, that was taking place in like College Park, and that students had like free access to. I forgot what it was, but yeah, I think if you go to the Facebook like Shorthorn or Excel, it'll pull up a list of like the social distancing things that are happening on campus, so that for those who do live on campus have an opportunity to kind of get involved and not feel so like secluded or alone.
Absolutely, and that's definitely some great avenues to be able to go and look up and see what you feel comfortable with and your engagement point. So Zara, since you joined us a little bit later, what kind of hobbies or activities have you been doing in this virtual environment to de-stress? And maybe how did you come across that hobby?
So Ishra just mentioned a while ago the Maverick Activities Center. we probably all of us know that there's tons of studies proving the link between exercising and how you feel mentally after it. And while joining a gym or exercise club is sometimes not feasible on a budget, it's included in our it's a part, like, it's where I feel like we already have our Maverick Activities Center on campus, and so I would often go there. I still do. When most evenings when I'm free, I go to the Maverick Activity Center, and we have a basketball court down there. We have the gym upstairs. There's also volleyball team on campus that often meet. So, like I said, organizations, there are professional organizations, but apart from that, there are also other organizations that do like these sport events, like volleyball teams, like a volleyball team organization, or like a soccer organization. I know that the soccer organization, they meet like every Thursday on campus, Thursday nights, and they play soccer out there. And so for me, basically engaging myself physically, maybe like going out on a hike, or just taking some downtime to work out, and maybe work out on what it is that relaxes you. Maybe some people, what they do is they're very creative and they like drawing, they like sketching. It kind of helps them, get some steam off, relax from all the tests and exams. But yeah, I can't stress enough the importance of maintaining a healthy mind and body as a student. It's often one of the most exciting yet stressful times in your life, being a student. So basically talking to people, seeking support, and using powerful tools such as exercise can significantly improve your peace of mind, as well as bringing about a whole host of physical benefits.
So you mentioned student organizations. If I'm going to go look for a student organization, where's the best place, and how have y'all found student organizations in the past? Because once you're engaged in a student organization, that's a great way to get involved socially with other individuals and kind of feel that connection to this school and to that organization. But how do you even begin? Where do you start in finding either a professional, social, or special interest student organization?
So we have MavArts. I believe when I joined as a freshman, there were around 300 organizations on there, but now there's even more, almost 400 now on there. So if you search up MavArts, you click on the link, you click on the website, there'll be a bunch of organizations down there. What I did as a freshman, I would just search up, okay, yoga. I was really into yoga back then. And I searched up yoga, and believe me, there were like 2 or 3 yoga organizations, like student organizations on campus that would meet on a weekly basis, or more than once a week, actually. So anything that comes up to your mind, just search it up on there. Can you believe it? There was also an anime club on an anime club on our campus. So just look up anime and anything like that you like doing in your downtime, or like when you're free, maybe just search it up, and something related to that will pop up on mavarts.com and will hopefully interest you. Also, just to join these organizations, all you have to do is just email. When you click on them, you'll be able to see their contact information and the people who are part of the leadership, who are the leaders of that organization. You could just email them, find that contact information over there. I know during COVID, most organizations might be inactive, but majority of them are still active online, and you could email them and ask them if they're still, meeting up, or if they're doing stuff virtually. They'll be able to help you with that.
Absolutely. That's some great advice on just like how to even go about finding student organization, because once you're involved and you find one that you like, it's a lot easier to kind of keep that network growing in that particular respect. So I know that we are heading towards the final part of the semester, towards those big projects and tests, exams, just the end of it all. My question for you two is, how are you planning on keeping your balance in place? How are you going to focus on your well-being moving into the final exams, and kind of what tips would you give to any student who's trying to figure out how they're going to do this virtually, maybe for the first time, or maybe some of the hardest classes? How do they work on their well-being planning for the final exam so they can stay successful?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think having a good plan of attack is very, very necessary. And what I mean by that, for me personally, what I do, I have a whiteboard that's like a giant calendar. And so I can split it up with 2 months. So that's what I've done for November and December. And I've written out all my major papers, projects, quizzes, tests, anything of that nature. And then when my finals are and when my final presentation and things will be. And so I've been using that as like, like a sort of guide to see, okay, well, I need to start working on these PowerPoints. I need to start doing this. I need to start doing that. And so that has really helped me like see like in a week if I'm going to be like super, busy with work or, what my workload's going to be. And so I think having that kind of picture in mind really helps, give you some clarity and helps you kind of design like a pathway for yourself because you know where all the big roadblocks are. And then just you need to find a way to navigate them. And as far as like the eating healthy, I think meal prepping is a great way to do that. I know I've definitely been trying to do it and it's definitely helped, like, getting up in the morning and not like wondering what I'm going to be eating for like what I'm going to order for lunch, knowing that, okay, well, I have some chicken breast, I have some broccoli in the fridge, and then I can make like a sweet potato on the side. And so like having things like that, I think is super duper helpful because, I mean, as we get less young, we need to take better care of our bodies. And I think especially with COVID, like just for me, the first part of COVID, I ate out like every day. Like I ordered food because I just didn't want to cook. And it was just, as much as I love Chick-fil-A, those nuggets are not the healthiest. And so, I think just learning to kind of figure out what you like and what you can cook and like being able to do that, I think will bring you a lot of joy, and then will kind of like motivate you to like cook for yourself more so that you can have a healthier home cooked meal.
I would definitely agree with Ishrat. Basically, you need to create a game plan in advance. So we all know that finals are near and they're going to be virtual. So once you have an idea of what your finals are going to look like, create a schedule to help you study, like Ishrat said. It can be helpful to use a planner, calendar app, or even to create a to-do list and to outline all of your upcoming assignments and due dates, and maybe your final presentation, project presentation dates, or even your final exams. So I would suggest break maybe larger projects into smaller pieces, like identifying your sources, writing an introductory paragraph, or working through PowerPoint slides. Remember to celebrate your milestones, even if they feel small. Every little bit counts. And like Ishrat mentioned, you should eat healthy. That's very important. You need healthy energy and schedule breaks in between. Our brains are incredible, but they still need a break from time to time. So yes, definitely schedule breaks. Sleep. I know during finals, most people like to study all night. Like most students, what they say is that they not enjoy, but like they like studying through the night because that's when they get most done, and everything, like there's most of the people in the house are sleeping, and so you get like silence, and you're alone in your room, you get to study well. So fine, if that works for you, great. But then make sure that during daytime, once you're done with your final exam, hopefully if it's early in the morning, definitely make sure that you catch on that sleep, because you cannot keep functioning like that with maybe 3 or 4 hours of sleep during finals week. So definitely sleep well, just to make sure that you're well rested. You need a healthy brain and an active brain to study for the next exam then. So definitely take sleep after your exam.
Absolutely on the sleep factor. Both in my undergrad and grad degrees, when I worked on those, one of the biggest things, I always was one of those people who waited to the last minute and would like cram for a final exam. It is not the best plan. You lose a lot of sleep and it just becomes more stressful. I found that it was just harder,
Mm-hmm.
How do you go about like getting more sleep? If you're like, I've been working on this lesser sleep schedule for a while, how do you start adding more sleep back into your schedule? How does that work? Have y'all tried that yet?
I know it's very easy to say it, but when you have an exam the next day, you're like, I can't think about this right now.
Yeah.
But then again, you know, it is very important. I've seen myself, if if I'm not well rested, my exam doesn't go as well as I think it would. And I've seen my scores on if for my final exam, if I study like well ahead before of time, make sure you study well ahead before time, because last minute, don't leave anything till the last minute, because that's how we lose our sleep, because we leave, sometimes we procrastinate, most students, me especially, we procrastinate and we leave everything until the last minute, and so obviously we don't have time for sleep then. So I would suggest, even to myself, that I have told myself that before my final, I'm going to start at least like a week or a week and a half in advance for that particular final. Just cover small stuff, like small topics each day, and you know, break larger topics into smaller ones, and hopefully I'll get enough sleep the day before exam then.
So for me, I'm kind of like the opposite of Zara. I do best when I'm caffeinated and jittery, and I just need to take that exam and just be done with it. It's the worst feeling in the world. I don't know why I do it to myself, but I do really well on tests. Because if I get too relaxed, then I start overthinking and overguessing and second guessing myself, and it does not go well. So before every exam I've taken during this COVID era, I've downed 2 Red Bulls, and it has worked thus far. So hopefully it works for my final round of exams. I try to sleep. I can't sleep thinking of, oh, well, I should be studying. Like, this is no time for sleep. And so, yeah, I end up staying awake anyway. So.
Yeah, finding that balance of sleep in your life is kind of hard, especially like going into projects and midterms, finals, all those like higher points in the semester. For myself, I had to learn to schedule time to sleep in a schedule. So just like we kind of talked about breaking out a schedule where you create a block just to be able to de-stress. For me, I actually had to plan, this is when I'm going to sleep. And I will say a lot of phones now have great things of like, you know, bedtime reminders and things that are wonderful, because it kind of helps remind you of, hey, it's time to start unwinding from the day. Because y'all are right, that reset button from sleep is so critical, because it does help you kind of recenter yourself and reground. And for me, I find that to be the best time for me to kind of refocus my energy and be much more prepared for the next day. But, you know, each person has their own way of working towards those final exams, and there's not a wrong way or a right way. It's just your way, really, essentially, finding what works best for you. Sometimes it's taking the bigger pieces, breaking them into smaller parts. Maybe it's, you know, procrastinating. I never say do that, because it is incredibly stressful. So my next question for y'all is really more along the lines of, during that high stress time of, you know, preparing for those final exams and projects, the end of semester stuff, how do you still stay in contact with your support network or your family and friends during that time? And how does that work?
Yeah, so that's, I think, one of the most difficult things, because, like, you know, when I'm under a deadline or I know I have exams coming up, I don't really respond to my text messages. Like, the one thing that I do like a lot is like I'll put my iPhone on do not disturb mode, and so it won't interrupt me. But then I feel bad, and so I'll check it and I'll just tell them, hey, you know, I'm studying for a test. And so, you know, like, they understand. Like, one of my best friends, she and her spouse, like, they'll drop, like, they live down the street from me, so sometimes they'll drop off food or drop off some cookies, like, say hi for like 5-10 minutes and then leave, you know. And then like, I sometimes, like, my dogs will come and with their leash in their mouth, and they'll sit by my feet and they're like, hey, we haven't gone out all day, come on. And so, you know, it's just like little hints like that kind of help keep me on track. Like, I think of like my dog, I'm like, oh yeah, you know, we haven't gone out, like, let me take you out. And then, like, you know, that leads me to, like, I'll look at my phone and stuff and, like, you know, text my mom and dad that I'm still alive and they didn't need to give me 45 phone calls. But yeah, it's difficult because you want to do well and you think every minute counts, and sometimes it does. Like there have been times like I've literally last minute looked at a page of notes, and these pages of notes, like one key thing in them made the difference between me getting an A or a B, And so from that experience that I've had, I try to take every minute that I can to get as much studying as I can. And then I feel really bad and I apologize to my friends and family afterwards. But they're good to me and then they understand like what the bigger goal is. So yeah.
Yeah. I actually agree with Ishrat. I mean, even though I would put my phone on do not disturb, but then I'd feel bad because there's people reaching out and they kind of would get mad if I wouldn't get back to them right away. So what I would suggest doing is that maybe set a timer for, like, let's say during your breaks when you're scheduling break. As soon as you start studying, set a timer for maybe, let's say, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever works for you. Set a timer, and once it goes off, take a small break, a 5-minute break, a 10, 15-minute break. Go walk around, maybe video chat with a friend, grab a snack, or just go around the house, see whoever's present, talk to them maybe for a bit, tell them ask them how's it going. Maybe lie down or do a quick stretching routine, whatever that helps you relax. But yeah, definitely call those people that have been trying to reach out to you and you couldn't get back to them while you were studying. But definitely stay in contact with them. I feel like when you're scheduling your breaks and taking your breaks in between studying, you can definitely text them back, give them a call, talk to them. And once you get back to studying, I feel like I personally feel more refreshed after those small chats or those calls with my friends, family, support group.
Absolutely. I for myself, when I was going through my process of my degrees, my biggest thing was I always took a dance break. Once you've checked off some like studying and some key points, I would check in with family, whatever it is, and then I would have a dance break. It sounds like something so like out there, but for me it was like my point of distress where I could like shake my hands because like from typing or from writing or from holding up a book, and then it also got me moving around, because I will say that would kind of helped. And then sometimes I would like FaceTime and talk to like a friend also, and we would have our dance party together in terms of like get excited and listen to obviously some current music. That was kind of my way of de-stressing, was just kind of taking something different. But it was always very critical to check in with my family and friends who've been trying to reach out to me, because I did something very similar of the do not disturb. And then you just feel that instant kind of almost guilt of you were trying to talk to me and I was ignoring you. But it's so important. They're your support network. They're here to help you achieve your larger goals of completing that degree, completing that class, all of those things along the way. And sometimes you just have to remind yourself of that. And, each person handles things just very differently, and your support network is there just at the end of the day to help you. So what are your big plans for once you finish out this semester? What are your big plans to kind of celebrate everything kind of coming to a close? I know many people sometimes take a trip. Maybe they pick up like a whole new exercise routine or pick up like a new binge series to watch for a while. What are your big plans that you're maybe kind of looking forward to once semester's over to kind of recenter yourself before you start off in the spring semester?
So I will be lucky enough, hopefully, to be graduating in December. And so afterwards, the day after like my last class, I was scheduled to run the Dallas Half Marathon. Unfortunately, it didn't get canceled, but now it's like a virtual event, and they postponed it to like April because this is going to be the 50th anniversary of it, and they wanted to do like a really big thing for it. So yeah, I'll be doing the virtual, and then I'll be running like in the actual one come April. And then also I will be going on a trip to like Colorado, and there's this area near, I think, Colorado Springs called Garden of the Gods, and it's like heavenly. So I'm so excited to be able to take my dogs there and take them on like a long walk and a long hike. And hopefully I'll have a job offer too. That's the important thing.
Exactly. So yeah, I would definitely start binge watching a series, a show that I've been missing on. Apart from that, what else would I do? Honestly, just go out with family or with friends. Maybe go for a hike, go to a park, kind of just chat, walk around, just relax. That helps me. Going out into the nature, taking a walk, going for a hike, maybe go for a camping trip. Yeah, during COVID, honestly, there's not much stuff that we could do. So yeah, go for a camping trip. I love those camping trips.
I have a hammock you can borrow if you want to go hammock camping.
Oh, you have hammock?
Yeah.
Definitely. My uncle has all his camping gear with him at all times. So if he doesn't lend it to me for some reason, I would definitely ask him for it then.
So I see we do have a question in our Q&A, and Marielle said, what is the sign that the degree you were going for is not working out as well as you hoped? As in, what is the sign you should probably switch degrees? For me personally, like, you know, if you don't enjoy the classes, you're not doing so well as them as you hoped, and like you don't see yourself doing this in the future, then it would be time for you to change. Because my undergrad I got from UTA as well. I got it in electrical engineering and math. And when I took circuits, I had the roughest, worst time. That class and I did not like each other, and the feeling was mutual. But I could imagine myself taking future classes in my degree plan. I just knew that that circuits class was just one part of EE, that it's one of the biggest parts of EE, but it's not the all of EE. And I knew that I was good with digital systems. I was good with signal processing. I was good with, you know, product design and stuff. But like sometimes circuits, I just needed a little extra help on it. And so I struggled through the class and I did well. And there were moments where I really did want to switch degrees, but I really wanted to finish with EE. And so I looked at my degree plan and I looked at my future class. I'm like, you know, I do like this topic. I know I can do well. Like, and I had a MEMS class, which I really liked because I'm really interested in medical devices and a lot of EE. And the reason I chose math to get my master's in biomedical is because a lot of EE and biomedical engineering, they fuse together, especially in terms of design. And so you just really have to kind of ask yourself, like, can I see myself doing this in the future? And if you can't, then, you know, go talk to your advisor, change your major to something you like, because life is too short to have a career you don't enjoy.
I definitely agree with Ishrat on that. You know what? I was actually an architecture major before, and before I changed it to architectural engineering. So what I felt after my freshman semester, my first semester at UTA as an architecture student, we used to have a lot of drawing classes. So I enjoy drawing. I love drawing. I just wouldn't enjoy it enough. I wouldn't want to do it if it was assigned to me, you know, as work, as homework. So it just wasn't the same. And then another reason was also because I was missing a lot of math and, you know, like the technical stuff. I was like, okay, so I miss solving problems. And so that's how I eventually, you know, I was like, you know what, I should look into engineering. And then I found out that there was architectural engineering available. And I switched my majors because I was like, if I enjoy drawing, but like just doing this for work, would I want to do it in the future? You know, just think about it. If you're not enjoying it at the moment, then you wouldn't enjoy it in the future. So explore more options. I went to Nedeman Hall. That's like the major building where most engineering students have their classes. So I would go there and I would talk to other engineering students, and that's how I found out about architectural engineering. I was like, you know what, that's perfect. That's like the perfect fit for me.
Absolutely. So for the two of y'all, do either one of y'all have any last tips or bits of information or thoughts that you want to share on any of the things we talked about today before we start wrapping up?
You know, I think everyone is struggling a little bit, and sometimes just be a little bit kinder to everybody else, because COVID has hit everybody hard. People have lost jobs, people have lost homes. Some people don't know if they're going to have a meal at night. So I think kindness definitely goes a long way, and it should definitely start with you. So be kind to yourself first and foremost.
Yes, definitely. Like Shrod said, I'm sure everybody's going through a hard time these days. And so definitely help other people if you can, and ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Most of us, we're like kind of shy. We shy away from it. But when you need the support, especially like now that our finals are coming up, if you need help, reach out to your TAs, to your professors. They have those office hours for us, those virtual office hours. Most professors, you know what they say is that during COVID especially, not many people join them during these office hours. But I'm sure each one of us does need help during our final exams. So don't be shy just because you're going to have like a virtual setting and just, be with the professor. Just don't shy away from it. They're there to help you. They're having office hours to help you. So definitely schedule appointment with them before your finals and talk to them. They'll be able to help you with a lot of your questions. Just don't stress out. Help each other. Don't be shy.
That was some fabulous advice from you both. Thank you both for your insight and your thoughts, and for just kind of sharing a little bit more about how to really focus on that mind, that body and spirit, and just staying healthy and your overall well-being in this virtual environment. It's a challenge for everyone, and each day it's different. And I full-heartedly agree, just kindness goes a long way for every person that's engaging anywhere at any time. So, thank you both for that great insight. And then, of course, as you can see on the screen now, if you have any questions or want to connect with us, we posted our contact information on the screen. Feel free to connect to one of the ambassadors. You can connect with them via email or during their office hours. So just like we talked about professors' office hours being a way to engage, don't feel too shy. Reach out to us, engage with us during the virtual ambassador office hours, because remember, we're all here to help you succeed. We're here to help connect you to the campus, and we want you to be successful. So we want to thank you all for attending and hope you all got some great information. So thank you all for coming and joining us virtually to get a little bit of insight, and we hope you have a great rest of your week because it's almost the weekend, and have a great time, y'all.
Bye.